The Spin-off Podcast Network.
This is Kiwi is back for a brand new season with more inspiring kōrero from special guests including rugby player, father and role model TJ Perenara.
My family bring me joy. Rugby brings me joy too, but it's not the same joy as my family brings me.
And global dancer and choreographer Kirsten Dodgen.
For some reason, people think I'm very intimidating.
Listen to the new season of This is Kiwi, brought to you by the Spin-off Podcast Network in collaboration with KiwiBank. Available now wherever you get your podcasts.
Kia ora, I'm Alex Casey, senior writer at The Spin-off. We wouldn't exist without the ongoing support of our generous members. If you're able to, you can make a donation at thespinoff.co.nz/donate.
I'll be there for you.
You crank that soldier boy.
Welcome along to The Real Pod. Last week it was the Dream Team back together and now we are Sans Duncan again.
What do we call it when Duncan's not here?
I don't know. The
Jazzy gals.
My name's Janie. I'm joined by Alex Casey of The Spin-off. And this is The Real Pod, your reality TV recap and real life in New Zealand podcast. We can get back to the real life in New Zealand stuff as well now that Bachelor's over. I feel like we were just so immersed in recaps that we just didn't have the brain space to think about other things.
We're only going to have a week off, though.
Oh my God.
Might I remind you that Pop Stars is starting April 12th and it's going to be 3 nights a week.
Oh, yeah, I know. We're not going to do 2 lots of podcasts still, though, are we?
I mean, it's a conversation to have off air.
Welcome to the production meeting. Okay, let's get into some real news. Real news. Okay, remember a story from 10 ago about some what were they? They were what did they call them?
They were called sex asses.
Sex asses.
Yeah.
Sex asses that were stuck in
Calais.
In Calais.
The headline was, I can't remember, it was sex ass merchant in strife. He has, I think, it was 100,000 sex asses stuck in Calais due to COVID. And it's been a real year for people in the lust bum industry because it's happened again.
So there was a big old ship that got wedged into the Suez Canal, and on board that ship, amongst I'm sure many other things, but most importantly, what they referred to this time as
lust bums. 1 million sex asses, rubber sex asses, were on that ship.
Do you know? Like, sex asses is great. Who would have thought you could top it? But lust bums.
Lust bums. It's just, I don't know where this trend of news has come from. I don't know what it says, but I just love it.
I love it a lot. And I also wonder how much lust bum / sex ass news there might have been before this that we weren't aware of, because it wasn't until COVID and the ship getting stuck in the Suez Canal that it really came to our attention. You know, it's created kind of like a little mini moral panic.
It actually has.
Yeah.
There was another one that I saw about a man in the UK who someone had a surplus. Someone had a surplus and he's like, I'll take this off your hands, mate. And he broke lockdown doing door-to-door sex ass sales and he made like £100,000.
Is there a third sex ass
There
story?
might even be more. They're all out there on Twitter. The Twitter's chronicling them in a huge way.
Please let us know if you hear of any lust bum news. In other real news, Jeremy Wells, aka Newsboy, if you're of a certain age, that I am, he posted a letter that he received from a Sensing Murder fan in 2005 on his Instagram.
Wow.
And it's all caps, very nice penmanship. And here is what it says. You had everything and you made fun of Deb Webber, one of God's chosen few. Now you will be taught the biggest lesson of your life, from everything to nothing. Skid Row, here you come. And if you don't have medical insurance, it's too late. God always gets revenge for his own.
Oh my God. Wait, so why is he posting that now? Just found it, just unearthed it.
Yeah. He just discovered it at the bottom of a drawer.
He made it. He didn't end up on Skid Row yet.
Skid Row, of all things. And medical insurance. I mean, it's not a long letter, but it's got a lot of content in there, you know?
Don't
really,
mess with the psychics, man. That's what I've learned.
really use the economy of language. Is a psychic's God's chosen few, though? I would feel like very much
Yeah.
flies in the face of
I think
that Christian
they
ethos.
would be considered sort of satanic.
It's my notifications. I just turn them off. Sorry about that.
But then
Anyway,
they communicate with angels, and what are angels to God if not his friends?
definitely mates. They definitely get together for a Barbie every now and again.
We need to hear from Deb, I think.
Well, she'd know all about it, right? Because
Yeah.
she knows things.
She's probably talking to us right now. I just can't get her.
Hey, I've got some batch news, but I don't know if you can't talk about batch news, so just zip it for a 2nd. Someone posted in the Real Pod Corner that they'd seen Jack and Lexi's stories while they were both at Splore, and she posted a pic saying, "Come find me," and he posted one saying, "You'll find me here." So that's all. It's just throwing it out there. We're still to hear from the cast of both The Bachelorette and The Bachelor at the After the Final Rose special, which I believe is coming next week. So let's see what's going on.
That's interesting. I love that flirtatious exchange is basically, where will I meet you? At the coffee club. But it's Floor edition.
And it definitely kind of deliberately made public, you know?
I saw Ben Blackwell from MAFS
Oh, yes, you
at
did.
Burger King downtown.
You didn't recognise him because of his hairdo.
He's got long, luscious locks now. How do you know this?
He posted your conversation in the corner. He breached your privacy.
Oh, hey, I'm breaching his. Breach away. It's a double breach.
I forgot that you're not on Facebook at the moment. Hilarious. Now, Chris Jensen from MAFS this current season, the guy with the tattoos that we both fancied and who's now no longer on the show, was apparently arrested on drug charges prior to his appearance. And okay, so here it is. The Courier Mail alleges that he's facing 1 count of trafficking dangerous drugs and serious organised crime. He was set to appear in a Brisbane Supreme Court on March the 24th, but the matter was adjourned to April 23. So it feels like that would have all maybe crossed over into some of their shooting time.
Yeah, that seems really dodge.
Yeah, it says Chris had reportedly been granted Supreme Court bail, which is why he was able to star in the show. You don't have to go back very far to check someone's criminal history if they're currently awaiting trial.
Wow. So what were the charges again? Is he...
Trafficking dangerous drugs and serious organised crime.
I thought it was fly-flow.
Well, I mean, maybe
2 weeks drugs, 2 weeks drill.
It's the perfect kind of job to be trafficking, right? Anyway, allegedly.
Allegedly.
That's it for the real news, but we do have some cranny content, so let's step into Colin's Cranny.
Colin's Cranny.
Now, Colin Mathura-Jeffrey,
Colin's Cranny.
star of stage and screen and magazine, he's the topic of Colin's Cranny, if you're new around here, just in case you didn't know. He's friend of the pod.
He's a friend of the pod.
He's a lovely character, and we just like to check in and see what he's doing every now and again.
He's our angel.
Yeah.
Pod angel.
And he's really leaned into just mostly talking about food, or at least those are the ones we pick up on. And this week, in big cranny news, Colin says, I had a pineapple lump ice cream. It's a healthy choice.
He's right.
Well, it's fruit.
It's fruit, and it's fruit done 2 ways because you've got ice cream and jelly.
I haven't had it yet. I know you have.
It's really good. I highly recommend it. I think in terms of all the repurposed chocolate bar to ice cream experiments that we've had, it's definitely better than the peanut slab one. And I like it better than even ye old crunchy that people, I think, rose tint.
Right.
But it's not that good. Pineapple lump bar, surprising bit of jelly, nice creamy ice cream, lovely thick shell.
You know what I love? A Snickers ice cream bar.
Where are you getting that, though?
Well, I was getting them in LA.
Check your privilege, mate.
Yeah, sorry. Did you know that I lived in LA?
Yeah, Skid Row.
Did you know that I used to be on the telly? I apologise. Let's reality check some maths.
I have 4 weeks to decide I'm going to drop my entire life for you.
I am disgusted at how much you have copied my husband.
This is fine. You don't even know.
Okay, we're just going to race through the commitment ceremony because it feels like an age ago. So Sunday night's commitment ceremony, Booker and Brett stay, Chris and Jamie stay, but not for long.
Fake.
Belinda and Patrick stay. Jake and Beck stay, Liam and Georgia stay, and everyone stays except for Joe and James, right?
Yeah, Joe and James cranks out his Gucci cardigan, which I've never seen before.
Yeah.
But felt like he knew he was going and just wanted a last minute reminder that he is very rich.
Yes, he is, yeah.
But not great taste, you know?
No, and he wouldn't admit he's a fuck up in the commitment ceremony. John Aitken called him out in his gaslighting, and he's just like, eh. And that is a couple that I'm quite happy to see leave the show.
Yeah, he really turned on us. I did like in the background, I don't know if you noticed, during the gaslighting thing, there was just a small flickering lamp that was right behind James. And I was like, that is mise en scène.
I was going to say mise en scène. It's the only
We don't
thing.
talk enough about mise en scène on this podcast.
It's the only thing I remember from my film and television paper at university.
Me
Oh,
too.
that and film noir.
Film noir. Yeah.
Yeah. This is kind of like a film noir. It was a very strange week this week, actually. Also, in the commitment ceremony, we learned that with Bryce and Melissa that she's just petrified he will leave her. I mean, I think we sensed this, but she basically said it out loud. And I don't know, they just played out that whole girlfriend on the outside thing of it.
The girl on the outside. Yeah. She's just... Also, that Bryce, is so angry at Beck still for bringing it up. He couldn't even say her name. They're like, who started the rumor, Bryce? He's like, the woman in pink. He's just such a little shit.
Melissa says that she doesn't listen to anyone except Bryce, which seems fraught.
Yeah. Classic abusive thing, right?
Yeah.
To be like, it's just you and me against the world. We're a team.
Yes.
Don't listen to anyone else.
Yeah.
He's actively isolating her, and she's taking it all in because of her abandonment issues that we know
God.
about. It's so ugly and horrible.
The other significant thing that happened in the commitment ceremony, to my mind, was with Alana and Jason, who seem to have just been like, they've just been like bonking like rabbits this whole time, and then suddenly she's initiating everything. He thinks her sex drive is stronger than his, and he's like, "There's no spark. My feelings aren't growing." It seemed to be out of nowhere. Right?
Yeah, it really did. And what I liked is for the whole commitment ceremony, actually, they did it with someone else, but they really sat in the silence in the edit. And it was just like Alana and Jason sitting there and the experts staring at them being like, what's going on
Well, that's
here?
how I felt too.
Yeah. But yeah, maybe you're right. It's like we've got 4 episodes at an hour 10 each, but we still don't have enough of some people to see this actually happen. I
Yeah.
feel like kind of the same with Booker and Brett a little bit.
I mean, I've already painted a mental picture of the girlfriend on the outside. So
What
I
do you
think,
got?
well, she's blonde.
What colour are her eyes?
Her eyes are blue. They're very striking blue, and you just get lost in them. And she's currently waiting for a gift from Bryce.
Huge Muppets fan as well. Particularly Gonzo. Are we going to talk about blue balls or what?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a global term.
I feel like Duncan manifested blue balls because he talked about it on the pod last week as like frigid being one of those things that you just don't hear anymore.
Yeah.
Next minute, Johnny's like, hello, I got blue balls.
And Alessandra, because she'd not heard the term frigid, was like, blue balls, that's an international term.
Problematic. I feel like we shouldn't be laughing about that. It's not like...
Sorry for laughing.
No, not as like that I think it's a serious health issue. I feel like it's that gross thing of like frame sex as something that men like deserve and is something that needs to be remedied by a woman ASAP.
Yeah. I didn't think about that because I'm a bad person, and now that you say it,
Well, no, it
I agree.
surprised me that Alessandra was kind of on board with it, but hey, you know.
I think probably... No, I don't know. I've got nothing to say that doesn't sound problematic. I was just thinking that, you know, it seemed to be Kerry it was all in good humour. I don't feel like, I think she's a strong enough person. Yeah, she's clearly not just gonna give it away. Like she's happy to to do it in her own time, and that they have a little joke about it. I hope that's the case anyway.
Yeah.
It's feedback week, Alex,
Yes.
and there's a lot of feedback.
In many forms, letter form, cinema form.
Who should we start with? Do you have any feels? Should we start with, you know what, we should start with Chris and Jamie, because then we can just put them in the bin.
Put them in the bin. Oh, I'm sad about the criminality.
I know, it ruins everything because he was a hottie and also he was unfairly treated by Jamie.
Yeah, so they had a massive fight, and he said that kind of off camera after the commitment ceremony, she had said things including, "Stop being so nice to me because you're making me look like a bitch."
Yeah.
And she denied all of it.
He also said that she's only out for herself and she's not the person she's pretending to be on camera. And there must be a significant amount of stuff going on when the cameras are off because she was definitely a little bit annoying and precious, but it, again, sort of came out seems like we missed an event or we missed something that led to this, to the point where he was just like, I don't want to be on the show. Or maybe he's like, I have a court date. I really got to bust out of here.
I mean, I feel complicated about this now that I know that he's on the run from the law. But I like the way that Chris expresses his emotions very plainly, very simply. He's just like, you are treating me badly. This is wrong.
Yeah.
I don't deserve this.
Yeah.
I'm leaving.
Yeah, and it was like they were only on the show for 5 minutes, so it wasn't a clawing at fame experience for him.
No.
Again, the news we know now does reframe everything a touch. But in the moment when I was watching that and I didn't know about all the drug trafficking and such, I really believed him. I really believed him. I thought he was there to find love and that it was clearly not going to happen. And so he didn't look around the room and see if there was another option. He was just like, this is it. I'm out of here.
Yeah. And also, no one else has just been able to leave in the moment like that, right? They've always had to kind of stick it out till the very formal commitment ceremony.
I think it has happened before, but not in this season. And I think it often is something that like the experts get involved in, and they're like, someone's written leave and someone's written stay, and they're like, this is clearly actually not going to work, so we're not going to make you stay.
Right.
But
Just
that's
get out of
it's rare. It's not like all the women walking off Moses this season of The Bachelor. So
No comment.
let's go to Belinda and Patrick.
Oh my gosh, what a sexed up week.
Oh my gosh. Can't deal.
I love Belinda's descent into crochet clothing.
That outfit for the dinner I mean, I don't want to skip straight to the dinner party, but what a choice.
What a choice.
I don't know how to describe. It feels like something that like Barbie activewear.
Totally. Malibu Barbie. Where did she get it? Or is it like festy wear? You know, is it like
I don't know,
from Boohoo or something like that?
It's not a festy dinner party. Everyone else is in cocktail dresses and in rolls Belinda in like orange and yellowy striped crop top and hot pants.
Hot pants. Amazing.
And the kind of like textured, like not, I don't know, not that makes any difference, but it's just, I don't know, there's nothing formal about it. And yet at the same time, it's such a statement outfit.
Yeah. And at the same time, Patrick's wearing his bright watermelon shirt. He instantly blew out his pits in like 5 seconds. I just love that they're both in their like sexy outfits because they maybe got to second base.
Well, and what is second base? Like, what is second base?
Something with hands.
What?
Something with hands.
Something with hands.
I'm not sure.
Like, not like hands on boobs? Hands on boobs? Hands on downstairs or just upstairs?
It might be down.
I thought it was just upstairs. I thought first base was kissing. You don't have to whisper.
I think you
It
do.
defeats the purpose of the podcast. Second base is hands on upstairs.
No.
No?
And downstairs.
What's third base then?
I don't make me say it. Mouth stuff. Mouth stuff.
Oh my God. I'm dying. I'm dying.
Wait, is fourth base home base? I used to play softball.
First base, second base, third base,
There's
home.
not like a fifth.
Oh, okay.
Shit.
Anyway,
How did they get there? Let's talk about that.
Okay,
they
let's
did
talk-
some nude sketching.
they did some lovely nude sketching and an erotic massage.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
that was full on.
Again, they hark back to Bachelorette NZ when Hamish gave Lexi a very non-erotic erotic massage, and I guess Belinda, in her maybe nervousness and anxiety about physical touch, thought she'd have some fun with it. She pinched nipples. She stomped on Patrick's back. She was punching him. She stuck her finger in his
Finger in the
ear.
air. Finger in the air is fifth base. That to me is the most intimate thing a person can do.
You're on the bench. Okay. And yes, so the painting, paint me like one of your French girls. Patrick was so into all this.
He loved it. He was just, I'm turned on.
Yeah, he really wants to progress things physically, but he's not yet used the term blue balls to his credit.
No.
But he's made it very clear
Yes.
that he finds his wife highly attractive and ready when you are kind of thing.
Also, not a great artiste.
Terrible.
Amazing stick figure, smiley face, like weird pointy arms.
He
Loved
did this.
it.
There's one bit where she's laid out on the sofa and she's got her underwear on, like red underwear that he was finding very, very exciting. And then she had her long hair draped over her bosoms. And he went to draw her and he just does this big circle. And she just was like, is that my face? She can't see it, but she could tell by what he was doing. That he's basically doing the beginning of a smiley face or a stick person.
Oh, I loved it.
And he's like, I'm not here for that. I'm not even looking at the page.
Just need to get it done.
And she had to draw him in several poses as he stood there. He put, for modesty purposes, he put their wedding photo in front of his bits.
Yeah.
But she did get to see the full bum.
Which
Yeah.
she had not seen before.
Yeah.
And she's yet to see his thing, quote unquote. But I don't know whether that changed.
We don't know.
We don't know.
It depends on your definition of second base.
Is it fine to know this stuff about people? You know, to be talking about this?
Well, they put it on the telly.
I know, but
It's our job.
It is our job.
We're
It is our job.
literally just recapping what happened.
I know.
We're not saying anything that people don't already know because it was broadcast all over Australia and New Zealand.
That's true. There was a good voiceover line as well, which for the first time felt like the narrator has a personality, where she was like, is that an iceberg ahead, or is Patrick just happy to see her?
Oh my God. Booker and Brett had a not such a great week this week. That's a bit of an understatement. They
Yeah.
had a shocker.
Booker got in her head, focused on the negative, did classic Booker, like spreadsheet sort of Punnett Square situation of the good and the bad of Brett. What did she call the two categories? It was like
The sick and the sick and the
suck.
suck. Sick and the suck? I don't know. And I was
Things that
like,
are sick, things that suck.
I'm
to
not
be
the kind of
clear.
person who uses sick in the way that, like, if you're sick, you're like, you're not at work.
Go home, yeah.
Go home. Please don't have gastro. You know, that's what sick is to me. So it threw me for a moment, and then I realised, of course, she's in a rock band. So sick means sick. Something's awesome.
The thing that she thought was sick, him buying her tampons, that's the only thing I wrote down from the list. I was watching a very low-res version and I couldn't really make it out.
I mean, that is nice. That is
That's
nice.
just doing the groceries.
It is just doing the groceries. It is just doing the groceries. Probably shouldn't be celebrated, but, you know, progress. They go to the theatre. They go to watch a lovely movie, and they get there, and it's Brett's parents and Booker's parents giving them some Zoom feedback.
And they were exactly as you'd expect. Booker's parents extremely serious, wanting to plumb the depths of emotion, and Brett's parents are like, are you having a laugh?
The advice from Brett's parents is to lighten up and enjoy yourselves. And Booker's parents are like, it's okay to have those intense conversations. And of course, they're just sticking up for their children.
Yes.
These family members have all seen the last 3 commitment ceremonies. I don't feel that there's been a lot of drama in terms of Booker and Brett, but that is about to change because Patrick throws a fucking spanner in the works like you've never seen. How did Patrick not see that this could actually work out pretty badly for Brett? Like, he's trying to help his friend, but he like pulled up the bus, he lined Brett up, just laid him right out down there, and then he backed up the bus and ran over him, and then back again and over him and back again. And this is in relation to a letter that Patrick and Belinda put together to give advice on how
So
Booker
the
and
couples-
Brett could improve their relationship.
The couples were asked to give feedback, and I honestly just think Patrick is so horned up and confused that he just wants to get through all the tasks so he can go back to looking at his lovely stick figure picture.
How he worded it was really brutal, though, like
Yes.
exceptionally brutal. Even Bryce and Melissa, who are doing the same exercise with Beck and Jake, and vice versa, those couples were pretty, like, generous with their advice. They were quite diplomatic and calm about it. Patrick was like, Booker, you are the worst. You think the world revolves around you. All you do is talk about your band and how smart you are and how high your IQ is. Not just talk about your band, but about how great your band is.
Yeah.
And then, like, that's the difference between me going, hey, I'm a podcast manager. I make podcasts. And going, I make great podcasts. I'm an awesome.
That's
true.
Get it every Monday morning at the meeting, for God's sake.
Stop. And most importantly, but perhaps a bit lost on Booker, was that she doesn't spend any time getting to know Brett and what's important to him.
And the big thing being that there's no way Patrick could have known all of this without Brett saying it.
Yes.
So Booker, calls that out immediately. But it just has like a really huge strop as well. I mean, It was really harsh. But I feel like maybe it had to get to that point for her to see Brett's point of view or something like that.
Maybe. I think that had Patrick worded it differently, he could have got there. Had it been, I've observed that, Brett has plenty to offer to the relationship and perhaps you could spend more time getting to know him. That might have been a nicer way to put it rather than you're so self-absorbed, you never ask Brett any questions about himself.
True.
You think the world revolves. And so I find this tricky because, yes, Booker, on the surface, her reaction was quite extreme. And then when she was asked to do a dinner that was all about Brett, she really took the piss and used it to kind of, serve some barbs. But I also see why she's really hurt.
It was a really personal attack.
It was a really personal attack, and it was also, as you say, information that really could have only come from Brett. It's not the kind of stuff you would necessarily have observed at dinner parties or commitment ceremonies. And outside of those, she really had nothing to do with Patrick, yet Brett and Patrick are like best buddies on the show.
Best buddies. She used a lot. So what they did, they set the challenge that she has to do a whole night that's all about Brett and she's not allowed to talk about herself. Even like putting that in there, just be like, have a night celebrating Brett and get to know him a bit better. You don't have to add the extra bit. She printed out like hundreds of photos of Brett and stuck them all around the apartment. She made the sign on the door say Brett and Brett.
I thought that was quite funny.
So did I. There were like touches of it I liked. And then she even recorded an original song called Brett,
which I also really liked.
The lyrics being Brett, 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 Brett.
I think had she done it with actual humour, because she kept saying it was a joke and we just don't have the same sense of humour, but it definitely wasn't. Like, it was completely acidic. But had it just been a joke that Brett was kind of in on and they still had a nice dinner and still perhaps did get to know Brett, then it kind of would have been funny and fun and perhaps in line with Brett's desire for everything to be light and fluffy. But it really wasn't.
It was too tense.
It was so
He didn't even smile at any point and she just like wouldn't back down from the joke.
We'll get on to more of how that played out at the dinner party. Now let's talk about Ilana and Jason. So they go to the movies and they get into an argument in front of their families.
Oh, no.
And I don't know, I felt like Jason acted like a bit of a dick in the theatre.
Was this the argument that was like Ilana was mad that he wasn't talking to her because he was asleep?
Yes.
That was kind of weird.
Yeah. So she had, I think, it actually sounded from what he said like she'd tried to initiate some physical stuff and he was asleep. And he just wasn't interested. And then, I don't know, it turned into a big thing. And then they apologise and then they do some mood boards. But then she cooks dinner in her lingerie.
Yeah.
And everything's fine again and so he's gagging for it again.
Yeah, they're not going to last, are they?
I don't think so. I feel like a lot of their relationship, what connects them is based around sex, but only when Jason's up for it.
They do like the vision board, because they both prioritise family and he cried about his nieces. That was quite nice, but it doesn't really seem like they're really thinking about that together as something they're going to do.
No, it's just something they both want to do with someone in the future. And it was a real sort of display of emotion from him. It would be nice if he displayed some emotion in the relationship, not just about the people on the outside. Liam and Georgia because of course they're new, so they're like racing through some of the intimacy. It's all gone like crazy. Some people are doing feedback week, some people are doing intimacy week, and they did the photo challenge.
The return of the hot or not challenge.
Why? In God's name, do these guys not put their wives at number one?
Too long a pause, Liam. Like just sitting there going,
and he's like moving it around, and then he puts Kerry at number one, and then he puts Georgia at number two, and he was like, "Oh, this is what it would be like on the outside." So much outside chat. Are they in prison?
I know. I'm also just wary of him sort of being like, she's just like got a really natural look. I don't know.
Yeah.
I find that always quite weird when people say that.
He was quite pointed because obviously Georgia, she likes to play with makeup. She loves pink, which is, like a colour that's, I don't know, like somehow synonymous with being like, I don't know, artificial or something. And he then when she gets upset, he then tries to backtrack. And he's like, oh, look, it's a tie.
Yeah, he's like, actually, it's neck and neck.
Yeah.
If I saw you at a bar, I'd come up to both of you at the same time.
Great. Sounds like a good idea.
He said, I come up to you both at the same time because she's got natural looks and you're good too.
He also pulled out the thing that he normally goes for brunettes. Men of the world listening to this, don't tell your love interest that you'd normally go for a different eye colour or a different hair colour or a different height or a different fashion style or anything, particularly things that people are just born with.
That's not the honesty that women want from you.
It's not the honesty that women want. And also it's, it feels, they think that they're doing you like they're trying to give you a compliment. Like, I normally go for this, but I'm going for you, which is so weird.
I'm being so brave. Like, this is really scary for me.
It's not a compliment.
It was very funny, and I think maybe our David Brent moment when Liam was rotating the photos, going, it could be this, it could be that, it could be either of you, it could be anything. Like, just really panicking.
Yeah, total panic.
The damage was already done in that long pause holding her photo, though. It was already done.
She puts Johnny first and then puts Liam in front, again, like all the other wives have. And yeah, he just, Liam apologises and they make up and it's fine. And I'm happy that they're back on track.
Yes.
Who next?
Bex and Jake?
Bex and Jake. Oh, there was a fight, wasn't there?
There was a fight. She told him allegedly to shut the beep up.
We know he doesn't like swearing.
He does not like swearing at all. So they came into their VIP cinema screening, coming in very hot.
Yeah. Also, she also completely denied at all swearing.
Yeah.
She totally denied it.
That's right.
And I just find it interesting that she's doing exactly what she accuses Bryce of, which is like completely denying something that clearly is fact.
Yeah, considering she thinks she's like she's all about the Bryce's gym story and the truth there. It's just cool to see just grown adults lying. It's a bit of a throwback.
This was the craziest theatre experience. It was Beck's mum and brother and Jake's sister-in-law and mum, and I predict these guys are not going to be getting together for a barbecue anytime soon.
Bex's mum, the most infuriating person on the planet.
Oh my God. She just went all in on Jake and was like, so I hear you went out with the boys, and has that kind of destructive behaviour continued? What about the context of the fact that they'd had like I think it was after a commitment ceremony that was quite tense, and he just, she'd been quite mean to him.
That's right.
It would come out about how he was like boring.
Yeah,
and
sucks the life out of him.
And so,
that's not destructive, that's constructive.
Right. I see. I'm starting to see the difference.
And just keep going. What was it that she was saying? Can I please cut in here? Can I please cut in here? Like, just so entitled, dominating the conversation. But then Bex also pulling out this crazy line that they had been the top couple at the start of the experiment.
Yeah. In what world?
She hated him the moment she looked at him.
That's true.
The moment he looked at her and went, ooh. And she went, oh my God, you're objectifying me.
Sex on a stick. Also, was she sex on a stick or was Alana sex on a stick? Oh, so many sex sticks. I don't know.
Sex on a stick.
Anyway, what was really interesting as well was Beck conversing with her family as if Jake and his family were not in the room.
Yeah.
You know, like kind of just drawing them in and being like, yeah, and he does this and he does that. And it just was super, super uncomfortable. And of course, then Jake's family defend him. And it just becomes an all-in shit fight.
I mean, it was very sad to hear the family be like, you look like a broken man,
Yeah.
especially knowing his kind of history with mental health and stuff. Like, that would be of huge concern to
course.
them. And yet, Bex just doesn't seem to pick up any of that. Like, it's just, they're just living on different planets. And then afterwards, so there was sort of an apology, which was something along the lines of, I'm sorry that you took things the wrong way.
Oh, so good. I have to say, from reality TV, I have really started apologising to people in a different way.
Really?
So when I would normally be like, Alex, I'm sorry that you felt that way, I'm just like, I'm sorry I did that thing. I'm sorry I hurt you.
That's
I
interesting.
am sorry, Alex.
Yeah. For what?
Everything.
Oh no, Jane, we've had a good run. No need for that. Stay.
Jake is like, I think she's a great person. She's just not for me. I'm done. But he's not, as it turns out. They figure it all out. I just could not believe they came back from this, to be perfectly honest with you.
There was that amazing bit when it was like, she said, I'm sorry, not sorry. And he said, oh, that's really nice. That's actually the first proper apology I've had from you on the show. And she was like, no, it's not. Just like immediately going back in. It's just insufferable. But yeah, they got their letter from, who was it, Melissa and Bryce?
Yeah.
Relationship experts, Melissa and Bryce, who said that they need to swap lives.
Swap lives. Now, what does it mean to swap lives? Does it just mean to swap outfits?
Swap clothes.
And do impersonations of each other? Yeah.
And it worked a bloody treat. I actually kind of loved them both in this moment.
Yeah, it was really good. And they were able to take the piss out of each other and it brought them back together. They had a good lull and, ended up going to the dinner party in quite a good space, considering what just a disaster their theatre experience was.
Maybe it's just cathartic and they were like, okay, this is definitely over. There's
we'd
just
just be
no
friends.
way. We might as well just have fun in the last moment. And
True.
Drum on the toaster for a while.
Okay. a long while.
Long drum.
Oh, we have to talk about Bryce and Melissa.
Oh, dear.
Okay, so, oh my God, I've got so many notes on these two and I can't be bothered. They go to the theatre. Again, not such a great time.
As if Bryce wasn't just covered in red flags already. He walks in and immediately goes, want to put my feet up on the seat.
Oh, yuck. Gross.
It's like, I don't have any shoes on right now, but I think that's different.
That's fine.
I think you have to respect a cinema space as a former cinema attendant.
You do. And also another tell was when they find out that the families have watched the commitment ceremonies, Melissa's face just dropped. Now, if she truly believed her husband was a stand-up guy and had not done anything wrong,
Two of them against the world,
and had presented himself in a way that was perfectly acceptable, this shouldn't have been an issue. But she knew that he's an A-class douchebag and that her family were going to think that. And Bryce's parents, bless them, they schooled him.
It was amazing getting told off by Mum.
Yeah.
She was like, you're a puffed up little rooster. I don't know why she's still sitting next to you.
And she was like, you were dumb to put Melissa fourth in the photo ranking. You should have just lied, which is what we've been saying. I mean, honestly, let's get Bryce's mum on the pod. She seems in tune with us. Mum says the experts have picked his personality exactly, saying he's defensive, outspoken. They've given you advice and you're not listening and you are embarrassing Melissa. In all honesty, I don't know why she's sitting next to you at this point.
Incredible. But then, of course, cuts to Bryce in his interview going, Mum doesn't know what she's talking about. In one ear and out the other because she hasn't seen the full story. She hasn't seen us happy. When have we seen Bryce and Melissa happy? Genuinely.
They fake it. I mean, they fake it. It's like they convince themselves. It's all just pep talks of Bryce, as you say, saying us against the world. It's only made our relationship stronger. And Melissa kind of nervously nodding and smiling and just hoping like hell he won't leave her.
And they're always drinking a weird juice.
I haven't noticed.
You got to keep an eye on that.
Okay. Melissa's family are really sad that she seems so sad. And she's like, I'm disappointed they only see the sadness. She's like, I'm doing fine. I'm doing okay.
She's like, I couldn't be happier. Like crying, basically.
And then Bryce says he doesn't have any regrets. He in all his just insane behaviour, there's nothing he would do differently. He's
Wow.
been true to himself. That's awful. Anyway, they get some feedback from Beck and Jake, basically saying Bryce is controlling. Yes, Bryce is using her fear of him leaving to his advantage, and that he's destructive in confrontation. I think Bryce struggles to say the word manipulative. Is that right? It was manipulative. Yeah. So he doesn't think that he can be manipulative because he can't say it.
Manipulative. Can barely say the word, so don't think I am.
They give Mel complete control over Bryce for 24 hours. And again, I don't think this was played out exactly the way it was intended. She dresses him up, like in an embarrassing way, with hair clips and so on, and in clothes that he doesn't want to wear, and then they go out for a drink.
That's it, right?
Yeah, and you know, he was like a good sport about it, but that's not really complete control in terms of everything that you do and the conversations that you have and the important stuff they actually need to address.
No.
But
also, did you notice they played the Curb Your Enthusiasm thing?
yes, I did notice that.
Is that even allowed?
Well, it also was quite random because it's like there was nothing about their situation that is anything like Curb Your Enthusiasm.
No. Nothing about it is funny or fun or anything.
The only thing I can think of is maybe the Curb music is actually like buried deep in a vault of just like file music that comes under like a general license, and someone just picked it out going, oh, this is quirky.
Got to do this, yeah.
And then we go to the dinner party.
Kia ora, Justin Giovanetti here, and I'm the political editor at The Spinoff. This podcast, like so much of the work we do at The Spinoff, is made possible by the support of our members. To find out more about The Spinoff members and how you can help us keep producing quality, independent journalism, visit members.thespinoff.co.nz and do it today.
Before we get there, a few weeks ago I said I was going to talk about some fashion stuff with you, and we ran out of time.
Oh, yes.
Can we address it now?
Yes.
None of the guys are wearing socks. There's no socks.
Sockettes, of course.
Yeah. A bare ankle is what I'm saying, is a very strong trend.
It's about a short pant. The pant needs to be mid-calf.
Yeah, especially if you're Liam.
A capri length. Yeah, I think there's got to be some sockettes lurking.
Even Chris with his crazy hair was still a fan of the bare ankle.
What do you think it is? It's very Elizabethan,
I
isn't
don't
it?
know. The train driver hats.
Yes, those are back.
They've got names. They've got like I looked them up.
No, what's a baker boy? Is
Yeah,
that a
it's a baker boy. There's so many. There's like a mariner's hat. There's like 16 different names for this one kind of hat, and everyone's wearing them. Also, including on the Bachelor NZ, by the way, Annie was wearing one too. So that's your hot tip for 2021.
Little baker boy hat.
Baker boy. Tiny backpacks. Booker,
Tiny backpacks.
Coco, and Alana all wearing the Raver backpacks.
What is this, like, turn of the millennium fashion? Is that what we're seeing now? I don't know.
Kind of like why carry a backpack if you can only fit your keys and your wallet in it?
You got to fold up your baker boy hat, put it in there.
And of course, everything Belinda wears.
A lot of also like a sort of a bustier.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I would call it. And then like a sleeve.
A puffy sleeve that's detached, no
maybe
shoulders.
not attached.
Yeah.
Yeah. How does that work?
It's funny you say that because when Beck walked into the cinema, I was looking at her top that was basically like a boob tube, but then it has big puffy sleeves that aren't on the shoulder. And I'm like, are they a separate thing or are they attached?
I'd almost want them separate because if there's sort of like a thread connecting them, does that limit your movements? What's the situation?
Oh, yeah, but also it gives you options if they're detachable, right? Like you can go, I'm just going to go boob tube, or I'm going to jazz it up.
One
with
off,
some
one
arms.
on.
Yeah.
Use
Anyway.
them as pants, calf pants.
You know what you could do? If your husband turns up wearing his capris, you could add a little flare from your arm sleeves.
Many options. Kerry had a great outfit, I thought, while we're doing fashion review. That like
Yeah.
little black dress, and I thought she just
At the dinner party?
She was rocking the dinner party.
Yeah,
look.
I really love Kerry.
Yeah, same.
I really love Kerry and Johnny as a unit as well. I know you have some, I don't know, concerns about Johnny and potential.
Oh, I think it's fine. I just think we need to interrogate blue balls as a concept.
Okay.
A bit more.
Okay. So the dinner party basically is all about Booker and Brett and Patrick is shitting carrots like he's never shat before.
So sweaty. Poor guy, knocking over everything.
He knew that Booker was going to come for him. Again, another reason why maybe you don't write the kind of letter that you did. And then, of course, they got sat next to each other at the dinner table, and the experts were like, oh, surprise.
Yeah.
It's like, come
What's
on.
happening here?
I just can't see how Patrick didn't understand it would cause major, major chaos.
I mean, do you think he's susceptible to a producer going, just let rip, mate?
Yeah.
Just be honest, like it'll be okay.
I forgot that this wasn't just fly on the wall.
I just can't imagine he would do that on his own. And I don't think he fully thought through the consequences and what it would mean for Brett and how it would hurt Booker's feelings.
Yeah, because I think when we first met Patrick, we were kind of presented someone who was awkward socially and so on, but he actually isn't.
No.
I think he does understand some of, the subtleties of how you communicate with people and the effects that has. So yeah, the producer input is the most likely culprit here.
Poor guy.
Bryce isn't interested in any drama tonight though, and actually he didn't really
get any.
engage.
Yeah. Just going to have a quiet one? Quiet night in at the library?
Yeah.
Not.
So they really had a strong conversation in the car on the way to the dinner party that they didn't want to have any drama. They're just going to let everything bounce right off them. And it was probably a good move. I mean the dinner party was a little dull this week.
Yeah. I mean, he did do quite well for him, didn't he?
know.
Because Bex was sort of probing and
Sort of.
poking the bear, as
She
they
was like
say.
putting the very best bait on the hook and repeatedly just like dangling it in front of his face and going, take a bite, because she was really trying to get a rise out of him. And I fly all over the place with Beck. I mean, net negative of Beck.
Yeah.
But every now and again I feel like she kind of hits the nail on the head.
Yes.
And she's challenged Bryce in a way that no one else has. But she's also really looking for trouble.
She's all over the shop.
She's an absolute stirrer.
She's chaotic something or other.
Yeah.
Someone out there knows the right thing.
So should we just do Booker and Brett?
What even is there to say?
I mean, basically, what bothered me about what happened at the dinner party with Booker and Brett, Booker had up Patrick. He essentially threw Brett under the bus. Yes, Brett did say those things, and then Patrick reworded them in a possibly not quite so nice way. But the crux of it was that Brett did say those things about Booker. And, of course, that set Booker off.
Yeah.
And Brett's like, you're missing the point. The point is that you really don't pay any attention to me. But it's difficult for either of them to see each other's point when it's all wrapped up in the kind of the standoff that they're having. And neither of them is going to give in, right?
Yeah. And Brett is also sort of shutting down this whole time,
He
right?
completely
He's
shuts
not
down.
really expressing himself, and the experts are sort of, praying behind the screen that he might step up and, be a bit more open and all that. But, just a bad feeling.
It was actually really horrible to watch. She wanted an apology from Brett, and he just wouldn't give her one. And then he was like, you don't apologise. Eventually, in fact, she apologised twice. When she saw him upset, when he kind of got up and walked away, and he took his glasses off and he was just like, stop, Booker, just stop.
Yeah.
And then she was like, I will stop. I'm sorry.
That's right.
That was a moment. I
was
felt
a
like
nice
that
moment.
she did the right thing there. And then later, he was like, you never apologise. And so she did apologise. And then he was like, thanks for that. And she was obviously hoping that he would do the same, and he didn't. And then so she just went straight back onto the defensive. It was just a disaster. And they're both like, I'm done. Marriage is ruined.
Marriage is ruined. Can't really see. The experts could talk them around because they're both interested in, I feel like, broadly the experiment and psychology.
Yeah, I think they do care about each other. But,
Yeah.
that's the other thing is that, Johnny really came into his own as, the mediator here. When Brett went to sit with him and talk about how shit everything was, instead of going, yeah, mate, she's a dick, she's being really unreasonable, he was like, do you care about her? And you got to let her know that you care about her. And he was just being very sweet. And Booker, obviously could hear it from the other end of the table.
Yeah.
And she was like, I don't know that you care about me. And he still wouldn't say it.
Yeah.
I think he kind of humiliated her, and I think she's quite stoic. Like, I think Brett's quite happy to show his emotion, and Booker keeps it in. And it manifests as kind of being tough. Mm-hmm. But I think she's really, really hurting.
Mm-hmm. I'd agree. I also think Johnny and Kerry maybe should be the experts next season.
Oh my God.
Jump on the couch, Considering they've only been there for like a week, they're really, really good at expressing their feelings and also noticing what's going on with other people.
It would be dull though, because they'd fix everyone and everyone would be happy, and then we wouldn't have a telly show.
That's true. Don't want that.
We lastly finish on Bryce and Melissa talking about, actually Beck pulls Melissa aside and just... Melissa says, what does she say? Kill your friends with kindness.
Kill your friends
They don't
with
say
kindness.
that.
No. Did she get confused? Keep your friends close, your enemies
closer, and to kill someone with kindness. And she put them together. Anyway, that's not how it goes. But Beck says that in the gym, Bryce was flirting with her when he was talking about the photo rankings. And I think that, again, she's just stirring, and she's kind of being like, oh, you look so beautiful. And then Liam was being really icky as well, and just kind of being like, have some wine, get this. I think there's a fun side of you that's waiting to come out. And
it's like, there's a firecracker there or something. It
just felt like two older high school kids getting a turd former. We used to refer to them as.
I love a turd former.
And kind of, like fake coaxing them into their group for their own ends,
Yeah.
It was really just to get at Bryce.
It was also weird that Melissa suddenly was like, wait, when he said that he picked you first, that was that hadn't occurred to her yet. Obviously he would have been approaching her in a flirtatious way, saying, I put you first in the hot or not challenge.
Yeah.
That she hadn't clicked. That's probably what that interaction was like.
I also think Beck just needs to realise that she's not going to, or anything she does, all it does is kind of push them, Bryce and Melissa, closer together. And that she's, she just wants to get her eyes out of Bryce. She's not actually doing it to help Melissa. Mm-hmm. At this point, Melissa and Bryce gather themselves up and leave the room because they don't want to get further embroiled in the drama.
Incredible. It's Mum. Bryce has listened to his mum. He won't admit it, but I reckon that's what it is. He doesn't want to get grounded when he gets home.
Oh, bloody great. As a mum, love to hear it. And that's where we leave it. It was kind of a weird week this week. I didn't love it.
No, I didn't either. I think it's when you see all the families and you get that reminder that it's like, I don't know, there's it's proper lives and it's kind of weird and a bit icky. Bryce, there was one final note from Bryce where he was quite restrained, didn't get personal, didn't get upset, and then he said, she's lying through her fake teeth. Yeah.
Couldn't help it.
But so I'm sure next week we'll get some more puffed up Bryce.
On the scale of puffed up Bryce, that was pretty low key. My highlight of the week was definitely Patrick saying, holy sexamole. Just like a classic callback to his original gag, and I loved it.
Sexamole. I hope we see that watermelon shirt again, if you know what I mean.
Well, it needs a wash first, though.
Yeah, true.
Hey, thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week, hopefully with Duncan, to talk some more maths and then...
Whatever else.
I don't know.
Real news,
all the things.
Cran. Can't wait.
I don't want to do a long, lingering outro today.
No,
so I'm just going to say goodbye. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye. Thanks, Jonathan. Fuck.
Beep.
Kia ora, I'm Duncan Grieve, founder of The Spinoff. You can help us keep all of The Spinoff's award-winning journalism free for everybody by becoming a member today at thespinoff.co.nz/donate.
Do you find it hard staying optimistic with all the financial news in the media? I'm Bernard Hickey, and on my podcast, When the Facts Change, I'm here to help you navigate the ever-changing landscape of economics in Aotearoa. So join the conversation every Friday on When the Facts Change, brought to you by the Spinoff Podcast Network in partnership with KiwiBet.
The Spinoff Podcast Network.